Peace and prosperity be unto all who's listening or watching. It's your girl, Shaeranea, right? And I'm back with another video. And today's content is going to be about me, right? You're following my channel, you don't know much about me, but I'm going to give you guys some information on me so you can know who I am, what I'm about, and what I stand for. So let's start out with the basics and roll with the punches. My name is Shaeranea. I am 25 years old and my birthday is November 12th. I was born in 1994 in Little Rock, Arkansas. I am a Scorpio. Most hated and most loved. Most compassionate, yet easily angered. Very short-tempered person. I am someone who really loves to learn. I'm a well-learned person. I love to learn. I love to learn. I love to keep myself open-minded and obtaining information. So since the very age of 5, I've always prayed for wisdom. That's like the only thing that's ever been like the most important thing to me ever. I prayed for wisdom since the age of 5. And I pray for everything a 5-year-old wanted to ask or knew to ask of at the time. And when I got much older, I prayed for the things that a 5-year-old didn't know what to ask. And then when I was old enough to understand all that, I started to pray for everything that I know plus what a 5-year-old knew too. So I grew into a woman very young. My favorite color is blue, and reason being because it's a sense of peace and tranquility for me, because blue is just so calming for me. It's a calming color. It's a calming state for me. It makes me very calm. It makes me very happy. I don't know why. It just does, and I can't always explain why. I just know. Just like singing makes me very happy when I sing, and if I'm in a bad mood, singing usually can give me a better mood. But I usually don't often think to sing when I'm in a bad mood, and if I did, I would always be in a great mood because singing really makes me happy. So it's some things in my life that makes me happy that I don't often think about doing. Just like being by water makes me very happy. Because I am a water sign. That's what Scorpios are. We are very deep, mysterious people who are very misunderstood. But in the end, I'm not an open book like most people. Most people are very open bookish and want everybody to know who they are and all about them. And I get that, people got to know you, got to know a little bit about you. People need to know what you're about, right? But I'm someone who believes that people who are truly worthy deserve to know who you truly are. You can't share who you truly are with everybody. That's just me, and that's my belief, and that's what I know. I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion. I believe that religion is what set men apart. I am a very spiritual person, and we are a very spiritual people. We are spirits having a human experience. So I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in man-made ideologies. So I stand and believe in what I believe. I do believe in God, though. I do believe that there's a divine creator who created us all and loves us all the same. I also believe that math is the universe language, and love is full circle, that no matter if it's received or reciprocated, love goes full circle. It goes around regardless, and love is what we need, right? So I'm someone who's very passionate and have a lot of empathy. I am a humanitarian, but I am a different kind of humanitarian than most people. I care for people in a way that is not how other people care for other people. Most people care for people in a way that is very crippling to who they are. I care for people in a way that doesn't cripple them, doesn't make them rely on me, and it's in an accountability manner, so that people can always know that if they can learn to do it themselves, then they can become the most powerful individual. So I don't have any kids. I am not married, but I'm not single either. I am a person who believes that if you don't live your life with a purpose, because it's a reason why I believe that if you don't live a life with purpose, you're just drifting about. And the reason I believe that, because even though I've been through a lot more things, it took like four, because four being my favorite number. It took 4 significant things happening to me, but at different stages of my life, like as a child, and as a teen, as a junior, as an adult, in my adult when I got a little older. It took like 4 different things happening to me for me to realize that I needed to turn a new leaf. I needed to change my life because my life was going nowhere. Like the things that I was doing was meaningless, and that my life had no purpose, and that I was just drifting in life at that time. And that's the reason why 4 is a significant number for me, because it took 4 significant things happening for me to really change around and grow up as a woman. Now, I did grow up pretty fast early on because I learned to experience things early in life. Like just getting out there, experiencing. Women just do stuff early on, and it's just how it is. And we can't change how we're wired up to be in this life. We can only change our decisions and choices, but we can't necessarily change the nature of women or men. We can only live to experience, live to learn, and live to grow, live to know. That's what we can do. Okay. I am a published author. I am an author of 3 books. I am a published author on Amazon. I write poetry books, very empowering, encouraging books. The first 2 books have like letters in them, like letters to teachers, students, mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, lovers. Just very empowering information for people who really want to work on themselves. So people who need inspiration on a daily basis, those books are on Amazon at Lashae, Lasha, right, Wright, like my YouTube name. That's where you can find me on Amazon. And the first 2 books are called Infinite Wisdom. You got Infinite Wisdom 1, Infinite Wisdom Volume 2. You got The Fight Within, which is my 3rd book. I just published that last year. I'm working on 2 new books, and there will be more coming from me. I'm also an artist. As you see in the back, I have a cabinet full of paints, and this whole thing over here, this dresser thing, is full of paints, arts and crafts, markers, things like that. I am an artist. I also paint and do amazing things with my hands when I am very creative. The thing about being an artist is you're not always in the most creative mood to create. So I went to school for welding. I am a certified welder who has not done much with it. I enjoyed welding. It was very, very, it helps, when I create things with my hands, it helps me express who I am. Like, I'm a very expressive woman. I express myself with my words. This is why my videos are so long. I express myself through paint. I express myself, when I was younger, I expressed myself through violence with my hands. I used to stay in trouble, so I used to fight a lot. So whatever way I could express myself, being someone who is very introverted, who is antisocial, and somebody who sticks to themselves a lot, I mostly go to events on my own. But I am not the biggest social cat. I am someone who believes that I only have this deep desire to help and not a necessary need for people to help me. Like, I have a strong need to help others, but no strong need of others helping me. And I know I'm a strong person, and that's probably like a sickness or a condition, but that's just how I am. Like, I've always had to be strong most of my life. I've always had to do things on my own. And that's really how it is. Self-sufficient, not depending on anybody, not believing that anybody can do or treat me better than I can. So that's just really how it is. I never had kids early on because I saw how my mom struggled. I saw how she worked really hard, and it really broke my heart to see how hard she was struggling to raise 3 kids back in the 90s. Like, if people were struggling in the 90s, you can imagine with the minimum wage and how advanced living has become and how high prices are now. To have a kid and be struggling in this time, it's just, when you think about it, it brings up an emotional state that I don't really want to go to. But like I said, that's why I never had kids early on, and I always focus on my dreams. So yes, I am a published author. I am an artist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm into investing. I'm into buying stocks and even trading at times. I do a lot of different things because I don't want to deprive myself of knowing or learning, because we are people who need to advance with the times. I don't believe that we should live off one income. I believe that we should have multiple incomes. I don't think we should keep all our eggs in one basket when it comes to our money. We should have several baskets, I think we should be well learned and be knowledgeable of the many choices and decisions that we're able to make, instead of just sticking with certain choices when there's several different decisions. Varietize your decisions in this life, because it's when you keep yourself to the minimum, you don't get to see the stars. Okay, make sure you give yourself the greatest opportunity to succeed and be great and be healthy. I do believe in health and mental health, and I believe in really care for the well-being of people and how people are experiencing things. I care for all that stuff. I told you guys I'm a very spiritual person. I feel things very deeply. I have a very strong intuition and a very psychological mind, and I can be very analytical, and things just come to me differently than most people. So sometimes I had to really take the time, because I'm a water sign and I'm a woman as well, because moon being the emotion, moon is emotion, that's woman. Men being sun, that's logic, that's seers. Men have to see things. Men have to get a hold on things. Men are not very patient because of this, and they have to mentally see things before they can believe that it can be possible. Now, with a woman, she has a strong intuition, a strong belief within herself to know things beforehand, and this is why a woman is always sure about certain things. So moon being woman, and that is a form of emotion. I am a woman and I am a water sign. Therefore, I have a stronger and a very more intense emotion than most people. And I'm a very intellectual, emotional person. So I'm an intellectual person on an emotional scale, but also on a mental capacity. I use all my intellectual senses and not just the few. So sun being male and being logic, and that being seers, you need a balance of two. You can't never have the one. You need the duality of it all. You need the good, you need the bad, you need the light, you need the dark, you need the moon, you need the sun, because everything has its own meaning, right? You have the yin and the yang. You got everything has its own purpose, and all of us, right? And if we're out of balance in anything in our lives, whether that be facing our darkness, whether that be facing the light, whether that be facing anything, you're just not at one with yourself. And one must be find the contentment within before they can be content with other people. So though I'm not the most open-minded to sharing who I am with everybody, I am definitely somebody that you can always come to when you need help, or somebody you can just be open to telling your problems to, because that's who I am and that's who I've always been. Someone who's just overlooked and underappreciated. I can honestly say, in my entire 25 years of living, I can say that I always felt the most unappreciated in my entire life. Whether it be at jobs or just in general, like, I've never felt so appreciated. And that's probably why I'm such a strong-minded individual. And that's why I'm so very confident in the things that I believe. And that's why I can be very fired up about things. I'm very passionate about the things. I even got bullied growing up. And I got bullied a lot growing up. But yeah, I used to put my hands on people too. So people used to pick. But when you pick, you get picked back on. So you got to be careful with who you pick on. I was a very quiet person. I was the kind of friend that you would not necessarily know everything about, but I would know everything about you. And I will always be there, like, doing things for people, and when people needed me to be there. If there was like a fight going on early in the morning, right? There was like a fight going on, I would go down the street and go to my friend's house and get involved in a fight that I knew nothing. I didn't know the whole detail about it, but I got involved in it. Like, when I was young, I used to get in a lot of trouble that had nothing to do with me, but I also got in a lot of trouble for a lot of things that I've done, right? I'm a person who can't be around a lot of environments that spark the fire inside of me, because if it comes to a point where I feel like somebody is being mistreated, or I feel like there's something that I can stop, or something I can put, I'm very nosy in a sense that is not toxic to the person or myself. But I put myself in a lot of situations that involve me to not really deal with the crap that people allow to go on in society. I don't just stand back and look and watch things. Like, I just can't do that. That's not who I am. I don't go to bars and clubs, because I know if I see something unjust, I'm gonna go over there and probably get into a fight. That's who I am. I'm somebody who gets into trouble when there's no trouble with me. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to involve me. It just have to involve somebody not being treated right, or just some crazy injustice going on. Like, I'm those kind of people who really have to stick to themselves, because I know my behavior, and I know that if I see somebody doing something, the intellectual darkness in me, or the intellectual me is gonna be thinking about, I'm gonna be doing something that's not appropriate. So I usually stick to myself. I have one good friend. Her name is Kanisha. Been friends for a very long time now. I can't say that I have many friends, because I don't. I have another friend. I know him for a while. His name is Anthony. He's pretty cool. I don't consider a lot of people my friend. That's the thing. Like, I have a lot of friends in a sense of associates. Like, if you want to keep it honest, because I'm an honest person, I have a lot of friends in a sense of associates. Like, I'm a friend to everybody, but not everybody's a friend to me. That's what kind of friend I am. I'm someone who you can always come to when you're in need of something, but I can't say that the same about other people, because the way I work is not the way everybody else works. I'm not the person who gives and expects in return. I'm somebody who gives and, like, okay, you give not, okay? I'm someone who, if you borrow money from and you never return it back, I'm mature enough to know that if you couldn't return it, you never had the fun, you never had it, like, to even... For me to be mad at somebody who doesn't return money, if they had the money, they wouldn't have never asked you in the first place, right? So what's the purpose of being mad at people when they, loan things from you or get things from you? I don't really see the purpose in being angry about things that you already know within yourself as a person. Like, it's a certain level of maturity for me to be young and wise, right? Because when I pray for all that wisdom at an early age, it matured me to a point where that I'm still maturing, and I could still feel that my mind is expanding. And I'm glad that my mind is expanding. I'm glad that I'm growing as a woman. I feel that it's taking a lot of time for me to grow up in a lot of areas in my life, like welding. I would love to do metal art one day, but right now I need to focus on getting myself a bestseller. I want a bestseller. I want to be able to help people and do seminars and do things on my own time. Get to a point where I'm no longer working for an employee. I no longer want to be unappreciated by a job. Like I'm not saying that there's not gonna be misappreciation in the world in other ways. I'm not saying that I want to experience that anymore. I'm just saying I just want to be at a point where I can be free to be all I am. An artist, the painter, the one who draws, the one who writes, the entrepreneur. I'm really a jack of all trades. I'm learning to master the things that I know that I'm gonna really, get some doors, because I know my gifts will make room for me, and I really believe in that. I know that it's taking me some time to get there, but I definitely am. It's gonna open some doors for me. So I just never believed in doing things that had no real intent behind it, no purpose. Even my tattoos all have meanings. Like, everything about me has some sense of meaning, some sense of deep, meaningful significance behind it. Every tattoo I have has some deep meaning. Like, this over here is like a spider, a skull. I'm someone who is not afraid of death, right? Like, I like dark stuff. Like, I really do like dark stuff. I cling to the dark things because I have experienced a lot of stuff in my life and a lot of stuff within myself. And I've been through a lot of things on my own. I'm surprised that I didn't take my life early on in life. Like, I'm surprised I didn't take my life early on in life because, when I was young, it was a lot to deal with. I was a quiet person, but that didn't mean I didn't deal with anything. I just kept it to myself. That's all. That's the only difference. I wasn't really like a person who talked about everything. I didn't see the purpose. Like, it wasn't my way of expressing myself. It was just like pointless. Like, what's the point of talking about it? You're still gonna feel it. That's why I'm a writer. I write it because even if I talk about it, I know I'm still gonna feel it. I know it's still gonna be there. Even if I overcome it, it's still present. So this this widow and this skull is a resemblance of death because I don't fear death. Like, I'm just like, yo, let me fulfill my purpose and leave here. That's just who I am. Like, there's nothing that's earth that really satisfies a person like me. It's nothing material. It's nothing I want to take with me. It's nothing I care for like that. I don't care for things or material things. I'm not a very materialistic person. So when buying me stuff, and if I don't get very excited about what you got me, just know that I don't care for stuff like that. I feel like I can get the things for myself. I don't expect anybody to do it for me. So it's kind of hard I'm not the best receiver. I'm the greatest giver alive, but the worst receiver on earth. Like, I'm great at giving, but bad at receiving. So this tattoo says, death leaves a heartache no one can heal. Love leaves a memory no one can steal. And that's true. Both leaving marks on you. Death is not something I'm afraid of. It's inevitable. We all must do it. It must happen at one point in our life. This is a flower. Like I said, I told you guys I like flowers. So this says, the flower that blooms in adversary is the most rare and beautiful of all. And that's true in my mind because I love the fact that even though flowers look so beautiful, they look like they never suffer a thing. But that's a very insignificant thinking because even though we don't experience what a flower experiences, this with it being rooted in the ground and having to grow beyond the surface, I believe that a flower experiences just as much suffering as we would, but in a different way, in a flower's way of growing and suffering on this earth, because we are all spirits. So I believe that everything on the earth, even the animals, suffer. That the trees, the plants, they all suffer. We are spirits. The only difference about everything else is that we have souls. Like, we're precious to God. We got souls. We're awesome, you guys. Humans have souls. And that's amazing. But that's why I love, like, flowers and stuff like that. And, like, this is my faith. I'm not, like, a religious person, but I'm very spiritual. So this was, like, the serenity prayer. Because it's like, God, give me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And you know the saddest thing about that prayer is that I care for what it says, but it don't register with me all the time, because I'm not one of those people who just accept everything. I just never been. I accept truth when it's spoken, but what bothers me is things that I can't change. Like, anybody can change those things that can be changed. Anybody, if they was responsible, obligated, and cared more and had the empathy to make a difference in this life, anybody can get up and change anything. The things that bother me most are the things that I can't change. And I like I say, I don't really care for the things I can't change. I care for the things that I can't change, and those things will keep me up at night far longer than the things that I can. And I'm just a very, like, you got to be careful with people like me. Very passionate person, very calculated, very to myself. So you just have to be mindful that people like me are always being mindful of others and things people say. And that's just how you have to be in life. Because this life, I mean, no matter how good you are, it's never said that you would not endure or experience pain or suffering, because we all go through hardships, no matter how great we are. So let's see. This is a heart with two hearts, an upside down heart and a upward heart, and an infinity in the middle. Infinite love, like universal love. Love is full circle, no matter how it's reciprocated, no matter if one can receive it or not. Love is full circle. Love is one thing that doesn't break. Let me tell you, math is a universal language. Love is a universal language. These things come in significance, and they also come in sequence. But they also come in numbers as well. When you take time to know yourself, things around you, and more about the empowerment of numbers, the empowerment of what they may mean and what they may symbolize to you, but also to other people, and how the meaning of stars and things like that. It's super deep, and it's super empowering to know a lot more than what you know already. I'm not saying what you know won't get you through the next day, but I'm saying it's better to expand yourself, to be open-minded to information. That way you can always know that you know that you know. Now, there's some things in life that you can always obtain information and grow on. Now, I know I'm supposed to be talking about myself, and I am talking about myself, but this is how I go about talking about myself, because I am a person who believes that if you constantly focus on yourself, it's a form of conceitedness, and a form of, I just don't like the idea of constantly talking about who I am. I like and love who I am as a person. I have a tattoo on my side that is a flower, and on the other side is like Japanese symbols, right? Or Chinese symbols. And like I said, every tattoo I have has meaning. And I'm glad that I have 11 tattoos, because that was like my phase growing up. It was my phase growing up where I was just going through it. That was my phase at the point. Like, I was a gamer at one point. I used to buy games and play games. Then I went through my tattoo phase. Early on, I went through my fighting phase. Then I went through my movie phase. I have so many different phases that I go through, and I don't cling or hold on to any of them because I can see myself growing as a young woman. I'm so glad that I am growing as a person, and that the stuff that I wasn't able to do, I am stronger in today. Like, I'm driving on the highway more, and I'm going places and doing things that I wouldn't necessarily do because they weren't in my comfort zone. Now I'm learning to overcome my comfort zone and actually do the things that I don't normally do. So even though I'm very mature and wise, there's still a lot that I can overcome as a person and grow up in. I sell and make art. I have books. I do a lot of different stuff because I really care about my life and the value of what I bring to this world. And it's really important to me that I waste no time while I'm here, because there's a lot of people here are just drifting. And I want to live life with meaning and purpose. Like I said, material things will never mean anything to me. And that could never be a justification of whether you love me. Whether you love me will be the justification of your actions and sometimes even your words. And I don't know what decade did words become whitewash. It became something that was not real. Words are a flowing of a manifestation of words becoming an action. There cannot be actions without words. There must be a 2 and 2 manifestation, and words and actions are just as important. So I don't know what time or a decade did that become a thing, that actions, and it's all about actions. You need to be in like a complete oneness of yourself, never living out of the contradiction of who you are and who you say you are. If your words are true and sincere, your heart is, content, and you're sincere and genuine with you and people around you. If you are one with your spirit and soul, if you are good in your mental, there shouldn't be a problem with what you say and your actions. There should be alignments in your life that allow you to be on one accord with your actions. And that's why I'm a person who still believes that without words, there cannot be actions, but words and actions are just empowering. But in this generation, you got to watch people. You got to make sure that they're about it. And you got to check their actions, because people words don't mean anything. People live out of the contradiction to who they are every single day. People say they want this, and this, and once they got it, they don't know how to treat it. That's how this world works. Don't have to appreciate anything. Don't have to work hard for nothing. Don't have to care. Don't even have to have empathy. Don't have to do right. You just don't. You don't. It's just the way the world is, and that's what we have to deal with today. So, being a very passionate person, being somebody who knows she's a firecracker when it comes to things and topics, okay? I'm a very debating person. I love to debate. I wouldn't say I'm just argumentative. You can't really see a person's point if you're arguing. I'm someone who believes in analyzing myself and my behavior and making sure that I'm understanding how I'm reacting to what a person is saying. Because there's parts to a person if you take time to study yourself. Like, say, for instance, in a conversation, you can agree in your mind, but agree with your outside behavior. You're like, no. And in your mind, you can say, oh, that sounds really good. It's the same with, sometimes you can look at food and it looks really nasty, but your mouth will perceive it as good once you eat it. It's the same. Like, you have to be open-minded into knowing that everything is not what it seems, ever. Never. So you just have to go make an effort to experience it. Because in this life, if you don't make the effort to figure things out, you would never know. And that's a fact. I'm not a girly girl. I don't like getting my nails done. I don't like I don't like anything a normal girl likes. I'm a total tomboy. I like shooting guns, and I like going to art shows, and I like to go to museums and big, huge libraries, and I like to do things that nerds do. Okay, I like to do things that nerds do. I like to talk about things that people don't talk about, like aliens and just weird stuff. Things that will freak people. I like to go deep. I like to go to the depths, and I don't like to be brief on the surface. I don't believe in being brief. What's brief? What's brief about this world? Nothing is. Nothing is as it seems. So why should I be brief about it? Because if I keep it on the surface level, there's nothing. I can't solve anything from the surface level. Everything that I need a solution for, everything that I need a deep-rooted solution for is down in the roots. If I keep it at a surface level, I get no real solutions. If I go down to the depths of the problem and get down to the root and the very foundation of the problem itself and break that very source, that very curse, or that very problem, then the greatest solution of all time is down within the roots. And if you're always focused on the surface and never focus on getting down to the very point and the very things down in the bottom, then you would never achieve the goal of solving problems, because you're always focused on the surface. Because the thing is, you're going to have to constantly find a solution for the thing that you never fix, right? Constantly finding these endless solutions for this very thing that you're not finding a ultimate solution. It's an ultimate solution for everything. And when you find that solution and take the time to figure out what it is, then give yourself a pat on the back, because you did some deep work. Because it takes a lot more than to, do the surface work. Because anybody can do surface work. Anybody can talk about the surface things. Anybody can just keep it brief. Anybody can keep it simple. But it's not about that. Just like I say, it takes a lot more than being good, doing good, and being about actions. It takes a lot more to be a good woman. It takes a lot more than giving. It takes a lot more. It takes so much to be a good woman, and I feel people should really think about it, because it's not just about what you give, what you do, who you been, and who you are. It's a lot more to being a good woman. It's a lot more to being a good man. And you got to be both the reflection of actions and words. You have to be the very manifestation of what you desire. You got to be on point. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. You have to be on point. And a point where it's like, can't nobody just speak on you in a way that it's like, she ain't about it. She about it. Like, you gotta be on your stuff, guys. If you're living today, you're living for a reason. You're here for a reason, and you just gotta figure out and define why you're here with your own reason. I'm here to help people, tons of people, in every way that I can. And the reason why I believe that all my gifts will make room for me is because every gift I use, whether it's painting, writing, drawing, even singing at times, talking to people, being somebody who's easy to talk to, I believe all these things, the more I know, the better off I am in life in helping people. Because the more that my mind expands, the more that I know how to do, the more trades and things that I am accessible to, there's no lack in who I can help. There's no lack in who I can help in this world, and there's no limit in the mind that I can't grasp, right? So I'm a person who believes in the power of knowledge and wisdom, and believes that if there is no power in your mind to do greater things, then you can never do greater things, because it all starts in the mind. The mind is all, the universe is mental, and everything starts here before it becomes manifested here. Before you can actually create something, it has to be imagined in the mind. Then once your mind figure out, you draw it out on paper, whether it be a design of something, or whether it be the light bulb, whether it be a new computer, whatever it is, you started in here, written it out, and then created with your hands. Then it became a thought. A thought became a manifested, stated thing. It became manifested from here. So everything starting with the mind become manifested. See, the difference between the physical and the spiritual is that the time differences are different. Things in the spiritual are a lot more faster than the physical. And what I mean by that, things can be already done, but on here, on this physical plane, it will never be perceived as it's done, because the way that the process is here is very slow. The things that happen in the spiritual realm is very fast, and things are already manifested once they're spoken into existence, and once they're, because some things are done, just not walked out. Some things are already finished, just not walked out. So you just gotta get on alignment with your purpose, your dreams, and your desires, and you can fully walk in those things. So I believe in the power of literature, and that's the biggest reason why I write. I write to inspire people who are just like me, who don't do a lot of talking, or people who aren't like me, people who are like bullies, or those people actually suffer too. Like, they suffer with something. It's a reason why they bully. Everybody has like this inner darkness, this inner pain that they have that allows them to vent in a way that is very very destructive to themselves, but also to others. And you must be mindful of your heart. Be mindful that when you have strong passion, there is a greater need to do wrong sometimes. They say bad company corrupts good character, and I can see that. I believe that you can only be influenced by people you actually love or care for. I don't believe bad company corrupts good character. I believe that a person who's very passionate is easily corrupted, because anything we love, any person we love, we're willing to kill for those things, right? Passion can easily convince the heart into doing things that the human behavior would not normally do. So I think, though passion is a good thing, and though those very things are good, when they're conflicted and turn against you, they can make you think and do crazy things. So though they say company corrupts good character, they say a lot of things. Like, they say misery loves company. They say a lot of things that are not necessarily true. And it really just depends on the person. So these analogies are not always true for everybody. And what I want people to realize is that we live in a world where they're so good and able and capable of hiding and labeling things, so that no one do any deeper research on what things really are. And if you keep things on a surface level, you won't never know anything. You have to do the deeper works of researching things and figuring things out. So, am I easy to talk to? I am very easy to talk to. I'm someone who likes to talk about intellectual things that I can if the conversation is enlightening, or it's a way of helping somebody, or a business idea, or just things, or weird things like aliens and symbols and numbers, just things. I could never have a simple conversation, because that's not who I am. I always speak to people on a level that they can understand, so that no one ever feels like they can't comprehend what I'm talking about. And I always can break it down to you to a point. I'm not very good at talking about myself, but this is like my greatest effort of sharing who I am. And with the way the video is going and the way I answer my questions, you can decide who I am or what you think about me based on your own opinion. But remember, no opinion or judgment can ever be the contradiction of who I am or what I believe or what I know. Because at the end of the day, no matter what you may say or what you think about me, I am still going to be me. and no one can contradict or change that with words or thoughts or judgment about me. And that's just who I am. I'm someone who, even when I tell you the truth about myself, I still hit you with the facts and the truth. Hereafter, I'm not somebody who can sit here and just say talk about myself and not have like valid, some profound information behind it, because there is no meaning in words without powerful knowledge behind it. And I'm somebody who is a very wise woman. I know I'm a wise woman, and I know that it's a lot for me to learn, and I know I don't know it all. I know that I am more accepting and a student at all times, that I may be able to learn more things. So there's a lot that I want to learn. There's a lot that I need to know, and I love information. I love learning. People don't think I love learning, like, I love learning in a way that is so liberfying than anything in this world. Like, I love food. I love to eat. And my parents can tell you that I will eat you at a house and home. I really will. I really will. Like, I'm somebody who eats everything. And I know I gotta stop that, but, everybody has their flaws or things that they do. And I'm going to work on eating healthier, but it's going to take some time. Somebody who eats a lot, who just eats a lot of everything, it's going to take some time to get there. Like, that's something I definitely have to work on. Just being healthier, being a better author, being a better artist, doing more events, doing more things, like starting my own businesses. Like, just getting myself in a place, in a state where I am happy, prospering, and financially stable and free. Like, I want to make a path for people behind me. I don't want generations that come behind me to only look forward to those before me. I want them to see what we've done as well as what those before us done as well. Like, every era needs their people, a certain few people that's gonna do something. Like, I don't really get the purpose of living and not making a difference. And the greatest change that you can make is within yourself, because that is the most empowering. Because when you could change yourself, you can change anything else. I mean, because when people are very inspired by you, you can easily change anything you desire. I believe in infinite possibilities, so there's nothing impossible in this world. This is why the things that I can't change are not an idea that I can't change them. I mean, some things are more so in the divine's hands than they are mine, and I just have to learn to fully accept that, things are just not always in my control. And I'm someone who likes to control. I like to know that I am able to control things. I like to know that I can just control. I just like to control. Like, to know that I'm capable of controlling the things in my life. That's who I am. I like some control. I like to control my life. I like to pay my bills on time. I like to be ahead. I'm someone who likes to be ahead, so that I never feel that I'm behind, even if I'm struggling. So the concept of this, if you always have what you need, you can always have what you want. And like, even when bills and stuff get hard in life, if you have what you need in the home or in the reality, if you have the things that you need, then even when you can't pay your bills, you lack not. So my concept and belief on things is like, always be 1,000 steps ahead on anything that you could be 1,000 steps ahead. Don't never sit around and be unprepared for anything. It's better to be prepared than be behind. Like, be prepared for things in life. There's some things that are said, and they are said to be true. Now, not everything that is said is true. Don't think that I'm telling you that everything that's said is true. There's some things that have been said since the very beginning of time, and they are true. So just take the acknowledgement of knowing that even when people and things in life are ever changing, ever growing, and you just got to be mindful of who you are and who you want to be, and make sure that you make wise decisions in this life. Because when you get to a point of you experience so many different chances of getting a chance to make a difference in your life, and you still going on the path of the same path constantly, like, nothing bad should happen to a person for them to change. Now, the reality of that fact is people don't change until bad things happen to them, and that's a very sad fact. It's very sad, guys. Tragic things like losing your mom or your dad, or going through a car experience, or OVDing, or getting drunk and getting laced up by somebody, or just getting in an ultimate bad predicament, right? You shouldn't have to go through the worst experience for you to change your life. You shouldn't have to deal with trauma to a point where it took trauma to change you. Like, no, you should want to change before trauma comes, because suffering is an everyday thing. We suffer in life every day, okay? We endure each day. For every day, there's a new grief, a new hardship, a new struggle, a new lesson to be learned. And every day that you are aware, every day that you're awake, there is something new to learn. So if you're not taking this time to be mindful and be wise, then I don't know what to tell you. You got to be somebody who's accountable and responsible. I published my books at the age of 22. And being 25 now, I am very happy that I accomplished publishing my books. It makes me very happy. And sometimes when I look at my books and I see that they're not right where I want them to be, I think that they can be somewhere. So I could be somewhere, because I'm someone who believes in having to work for the things I desire. I want people to believe in me just as much as I believe in myself. But even if people don't believe me, I'm always going to believe in myself. So I'm those kind of people who believe that I should always work hard for the things I want, because I would never go in life unappreciating things. Anything that I am allowed the privilege to do, I'll always take care of my obligations. I paid off 2 cars in my life. I had 3, but I only paid off 2. One started acting really funny, but it was like a Explorer. I have a Pontiac G6. I paid it off over time. I've probably paid off insurance on my car probably like 4, 5, 6 times. I'm a very responsible person. I pride myself in being obligated. I pride myself in being responsible. I pride myself in giving my all. Like, every ounce of passion, blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I'm someone who believes in giving my best to the person I love, even when they half-ass love me. To anybody, right? To anybody and anything. If I'm gonna do it, I'm giving my all. There's no sloppy seconds or second best. It's all or nothing. I'm an all or nothing kind of person, because I am a Scorpio, and Scorpios are all in or nothing. That's who we are. And if you ever involved with a Scorpio, remember, we are all or nothing species. And if you're not on an all or nothing level, you better get away, okay? Because we're about it, and we mean it. And we're super passionate people, but we can get very, very, people love and hate us, but it's okay. I love myself. I don't hate me. I don't hate my flaws. I don't hate any imperfections about myself. I am beautifully made. I'm an extraordinary woman, and I love my mind. I believe my mind is the most beautiful thing about me. Not these eyes, not these tattoos, nothing about my appearance. This beautiful mind that allowed me to be the mature and empowering woman that I am, and the wisdom that God has allowed me to have, and the love that that burns through me, the passion, the fire, the empathy, who I am, that person who I am right there, that one that stands up and get in all kinds of altercations. If I'm not mindful, I'm very mature, don't get me wrong, but nobody's perfect. Like I said, if there's any injustice going around and I'm seeing it, I'm going to feel some type of way, and I'm going to feel a conjunction need to get up and do something. Because I don't just believe in sitting and watching. If somebody's hurting, or someone them fell off of something off the side of a cliff, I'm going to run and try to help them. That's who I am. I don't want to see people, you know, in pain, or even though they have to experience pain. I don't want to see, you know, people down. I'd rather give people a hand and lift them up. That's just who I am. I'm a giver. That's who I am. That's my greatest strength, and it's not a weakness in any kind of way. But even in strengths becomes weakness, because in the very strengths that you have are your greatest weaknesses that are hidden. And if you're not aware that strengths are weaknesses, you're crazy, okay? Weakness are the greatest strengths you can ever have, and these are the things that you have that you know that you need to be better at. So your strengths are the things that you have that you can improve on, but with arrogance and ego, you believe that you're already the best, and that can make your strengths a weakness. Your weaknesses are strengths, because even though you're not the best at it, when you become great at it, you become your greatest self, because you learn to have a balance of unity and improve all aspects of who you were. So that is so empowering to know that when you work on every little bit about yourself, every compartment of who you are, you become more powerful by strengthening your weaknesses than you do your own strengths. And that is so powerful. I don't know what you guys know. I don't know what you guys believe, but I know for sure that your weaknesses are great strengths. Unmolded, unshined, beautiful. So, I've been, like I said, I'm not like a girly girl, so I'm just a weird person, you guys. I don't really have a lot I want to talk about when it comes to myself. I just want to give you guys a little gist about myself. It's a lot to me. I want to learn how to play instruments. I've been natural for 4 years. I'm somebody who's very passionate about animals, nature. I like to meditate. I love working out. It feels really good to work out. It's another way of expressing myself. I probably write more than I talk. I know it seems like I talk a lot because my videos are very long, but actually I probably spent 22 years of my life not talking at all. And from 23 on to 25, this is a short span of how much I talk compared to a long period of time with me not talking at all. Like, I spent most of my life not talking to anybody or anyone. And I still can say to this day that I've never been close to anybody or anyone. And no one knows me fully. If you know me, you probably know 10 solid things about me or less. Because that's who I am. I'm not someone who's an open book who walks around and just talk about themselves. I get that in a public eye, people will need to know you, know your story, and know about you. But I feel that you gotta be a special and significant person to just know all of who I am. Not everybody deserves to know who you are, and I don't share all of who I am with everybody. So that's who I am. Most people won't like that, but that's just it. I'm an intellectual who believes that if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And what you stand for got to be more empowering than what you believe, right? Because your belief is the means of you standing. So if you don't have something empowering that you're standing on, your belief can be wavy like a wavy ocean, You got to be solid in the things you believe. You got to have a strong foundation of things that you love and care for. And you got to believe in those things. You got to stand on them. You got to have a strong belief system, because you got to have an undeniable belief. So I undeniably believe in my capabilities of being a successful woman, that I may prosper and all my gifts will make room for me. I'm saying in this video today that all my gifts, this is February the 18th, 2020, I'm telling you that I'm gonna have a bestseller. I am a bestseller. I am a bestseller. I am a great artist, and I am an amazing person. No matter how imperfect I am, no matter what decisions I've made, no matter what mistakes I've chose to do, I am still a great person. At the end of the day, I own up to my mistakes. I walk in my mistakes. I run it, and that's who I am. And I would never let nobody belittle me, shame me, or make me feel less than I am, because I'm a great woman. At the end of the day, I am not perfect. I am amazing. Like, it's a lot I can work on. It's a lot I can be better at. I have a lot of weaknesses that are great strengths once I learn how to make them better, right? But I have some strengths that I can improve on, you know. They can become better because they're not the greatest. I don't have an ego of believing that I'm just that great yet, right? I'm still at my prime. I have a lot to work on, and that's who I am. I'm someone who acknowledges the fact that though I have all the things I want in my mind, and I've written them all down, and I know all my weaknesses and know all my strengths, and give myself the things I need accordingly, because to effectively give, you must give effectively to yourself first, right? You must effectively love you in order to effectively love another person. You must effectively do these things for yourself, because one can never do for another what they can do for themselves first. If they never do it, they can never give back the same thing. And when you do it and you never gave yourself it, you do it out of vainness. It's a very vain thing to give all your efforts to someone and never give yourself the same. Because now you're the kind of individual that always expect another person to give you everything, because now you're walking in the lack. And if you're lacking in yourself the things that you need, then you don't have it together. Like, it's okay not to have your dreams fully accomplished right now. It's okay not to always be all the way together. But when you lack in love, when you lack in the things you need in your spirit, your mind, your soul, your heart, the things in your home, right? The things in your home, when you have what you need, you can always have what you want, even when you haven't obtained the things you desire. Because the things you need are the things you really want. Because even when you not fully fulfill all the things that you're trying to achieve, even when you can't pay your bills, there is no lack of need in the home. There's no true lack where there's the need fulfilled, even when the desire has not fully been accomplished. I'm just telling you the truth. It's just a profound concept, and not many people will get it. So comment down below if you guys watched this far, you watched this video. I know I make really long videos, and I will do better at talking about myself. I'm not the greatest at it. It's very very conceited behavior. I think that's just me. Like, most people don't think standing in a mirror and being in their phone is very conceited and selfish behavior. But from a person who studies human behavior and someone who's very analytical and got a psychology mind, I know and believe and truly know that that's very selfish behavior. And it's not good to talk about yourself, because it's a form of not listening. Because when you listen to somebody else talking, you won't be able to listen to who they are, because you're so focused on who you are. And it's good to have a strong foundation in who you are and allowing people to know who you are. It's good to be known, but not everybody can know who you are and a little bit about you, but they won't deeply, rootly know who you are. It's better to be known spiritually than it is to be known physically. And that's the root of profoundness. When you are known spiritually, where no one has to fully know the vessel and what you've been through. When you're known spiritually, it's such an amazing feeling, because you never get that deep connection with a lot of people. You get that with some people in life, but you don't get it with everybody. And you just gotta cherish these moments in life. It's a lot of great moments you'll have in life, because as you're growing, you can reflect over those great moments you had, those struggles and hardships that you went through. They're not so hard anymore, right? But you know what? the part of things of why people are very messed up in life is the reason why a lot of people are going around doing crazy things is because they're still affected by their childhood. We are more affected by the things that we experience in our childhoods and the root of our foundation, which this is like the breaking past the surface stuff I'd be talking about. If you don't break past those things you experienced when you were young, those trauma childhood experiences or teen-like experiences, whatever you went through as a young teen or an individual or child, if you don't break past those things and overcome them and learn to face them, those things will hurt your future if you dwell and bring them in your present, because you're constantly creating and manifesting your future each and every day with every action and decision that you choose on a daily basis. With each day, we become better. So make wiser decisions to be a greater person, but also remembering that the past can never be a justification or a dictation to your present or your future. If you allow the past to be that, then you have allowed yourself and kept yourself at a limit. You are limiting yourself because I don't know why you're limiting yourself. You're either ashamed or very hurt or somebody who just doesn't know how to overcome and heal. So it's best to learn how to overcome things and learn the art of letting go, learn the art of forgiving, learn the art of love and appreciation, and the art of just fully accepting life, because life is very precious and not many people get to live it. And since I am alive and I'm 25, I have so much to be happy for. I have an amazing family. I have 7 sisters, I would say. I am the middle child on both sides of my family. I am the most, I would say I'm the most responsible. I would say I am the most responsible. I'm the most funniest and probably the most weirdest of all people. Yeah, so I have a lot of sisters and I don't have any brothers. I have a lot of great memories, but I can say I've never been close to any of my sisters, though they love me very much and they'll talk my head off and get me to do everything. I can say that none of my sisters deeply know me, and even if I deeply knew them a little bit or knew more about them than they knew about themselves, no one really, I can say, deeply knows who I am. And that's okay. Not everybody needs to deeply know who you are. Most people just need to know who you are on a surface level. But not everybody will know you spiritually. So love who you are and cherish the moments that you have with the people you love. And spend your days living a purpose-filled life. Because not every day is promised and not everybody is still alive. And if you're living today, you have more than a reason to live up to amazing things, because it's infinite possibilities and we don't stand for less. So peace, love, and happiness, and let's have abundant year prosperity, baby.